Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for Star Wars The Bad Batch. And it's actually a twofer tonight. It's episode 7 and 8, The Clone Conspiracy and Truth and Consequences. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first, and we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up here just for you. And if you like what you see there, please hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you're feeling lucky, you can hit that bell down below, and YouTube may or may not notify you when I come on live. So best thing to do is go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it every week. Also have all the links to my social media there and all the links to my pages as well. Yeah, sorry about that, Pen. I actually forgot to put down that there was two in the thing there. I knew they were doing two this week, and I completely forgot to put it down there. So that was my fault on that. Sorry about that. Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episodes. If you haven't watched them, go and watch them. Come on back. This will be a video you can comment down below in the comment section. Giving you enough time to pause, whatever you need to do, all that kind of good stuff. So, you were working, it wouldn't have made a difference. Yeah, that's I know how that is. That's why I'm late, actually, is work. Work, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, these episodes do play, back to back. Obviously, they tie together, and they not only kind of move things forward in our story, which it looks more and more like this whole season's about Omega kind of growing up, I guess you could say. That's what this is all the shit that she's going through now is what is going to form who she is. And that is kind of what we're getting at with this whole season here. Um, and it also solves a Star Wars mythos. Well, not really a mythos, but kind of a question as to what happened to the old clone troopers and why we have indoctrination, Imperial stormtroopers, and where they all came from. So we actually start off on Coruscant with we have two clones, Slip and Cade, and Cade is saying that he had talked to Rampart, Vice Admiral Rampart, about what happened on Camino, which everyone in the rest of the world who wasn't at Camino at the time thinks that Camino got destroyed by storms. And he says, hey, I gave, Rampart heads up that if he doesn't come clean about what happened with Camino, I'm going to let the word leak. And Slip said, what the fuck? Are you crazy, man? So sure enough, as soon as they get outside, Cade gets killed by a sniper. Slip almost does as well, but he escapes, and he is able to he's trying to make an escape. He's trying to contact somebody. And in the meantime, we have a senator in the Senate, of course, who is Senator Chuchi, who is trying to stop Vice Admiral's Rampart's bill to go through to actually make these Imperial clone troopers, basically to start a draft, not even a draft really, but starting a drive to have all the world's peoples become stormtroopers, fill the ranks of stormtroopers. And since the clones are no longer going to be viable, and it keeps getting tabled, and Palpatine's right-hand dude, in the Senate is going, Palpatine's getting sick of this shit. You better take care of it. He goes, oh, don't worry, I'm working on it. In the meantime, Senator Chuchi is trying to fight for the clones' rights because, of course, they don't have any representation in the Senate. And she's like, well, where's the fund for them for when they get retired, when they get taken out of service? And so she starts advocating for clone rights, which is interesting. You don't really think about this as you're watching the movies, but as you start getting into the series, yes, you're going to start thinking about this. And she even goes to the clones and appeals to them and says, "Hey, what do you want?" And they go, "We just want to keep fighting. We just want to keep fighting these insurgents that we keep seeing in the Outer Rims, all this kind of stuff." And she goes, "Well, what happens when you're too old to fight? What do you want to do then?" And that gets them thinking, well, shit, that's right. We're gonna get old at some point. And yeah, the senator did look a lot alike Omega and sounded like her too, but it's not. It's a different voice actress. And actually, we've met this senator back in the Clone Wars, the animated Clone Wars series. Uh, Senator Chuchi there. So um, she, of course, finally Slip ends up talking to her about what happened at Camino, and he says, "Hey, I was there. I know exactly what happened, but all the proof is on Rampart's ship, the Venerator. And if you can get if you can get it off the bridge there, that's where you're going to find all this stuff at. And by the way, there are people hunting me. I'm trying to get off planet." And she wants to, of course, bring him in to use him as a witness as to what happened there. And of course, he doesn't want to do it. And sure enough, as he is waiting to get picked up by his contact to be disappeared, if you will, into the rest of the Empire, uh, Chuchi ends up finding him again, and he gets killed. So Slip gets killed, and we find out it's Captain Rex, actually, who is the one who he contacted and who is going to help him out. Instead, he ends up helping out the senator because her guards get killed, and she's almost next. And the assassin turns out to be a clone trooper as well, who is a quote unquote true believer and kills himself before he gives up Rampart. So um this is where all the political intrigue is going in. So Rex ends up calling in our boys, the Bad Batch, and they need to find the information, of course, that is sitting on the Venerator, which just happens to be in dry dock, getting repairs and all that stuff on Coruscant. And of course, they are going to infiltrate this and find what they need on the bridge. They have to go to the bridge of the Venerator itself, so they have to break in. They're on Coruscant, and they need to, of course, copy all the data. Not a small feat. And in the meantime, Senator Chuchi with Omega tagging along are talking to one of the Kaminoans who was the finance minister, because there were some discrepancies in some of the financing, which Rampart took. And of course, long before the Camino went down. Yeah. And basically, the long story short of it is they do get the information. They send it over to the senator. She's in the Senate. She presents it, and who pops up but Palpatine shows up in the middle of the Senate and says, "I'm glad you brought this information to our to light. We now have a traitor amongst our midst. uh Troops, arrest Vice Admiral Rampart." And then Palpatine turns it around and goes, "And since the clones were following the orders to take out Camino, obviously they can't be trusted for their judgment because they did nothing to stop him. So this is a good reason why we need these outside troops, why we need this Imperial Stormtrooper bill to pass." And he gets the Imperial Stormtrooper bill to pass, getting what he wanted all along, using the Bad Batch, because he knew what they were going to do. He knew they were going to take the information, and he was going to get what he wanted out of all of this. So yeah, this kind of tells us what happened to the clone troopers, how they of course aged out, um and got replaced by just regular folks from all over the galaxy, become stormtroopers, Imperial stormtroopers. And yeah, it was a very interesting way of doing this. And then also, if you go back to the movies, there was some talk in the Senate of whether or not the clones could be trusted anyway, because they weren't real people, because they're manufactured, and who knows what was put in their brains, all that kind of stuff. That was also brought up in these episodes as well. And that's what makes this really good, is it harkens back to not just the movies but also the Clone Wars series. It actually brings a whole bunch of stuff to light and ties everything together. Even it goes back to the original trilogy, because with the Clone Wars and all that stuff, with Kenobi talking about it. So yeah, it's really, really well done. And in the end of all of this, Echo decides to stay back with Rex to help out there because we've seen, like I said in the last episode, when I was reviewing the last episode, that we're seeing kind of a break within the group itself. That some people wanted to do more, other people were like with Hunter to run and hide, and Echo just decides, enough's enough. I need to actually do something, and so he ends up leaving the group to go and work with Rex at this point. But also, the rest of the group now at this point also knows that they need to step up because shit's gotten real. Clones now are basically looked at it as damaged goods and within the empire now at this point. So, and that's where we leave off on all of this. So this is a really good 2 episode series that we've got going on here. And hey, Movie Fanobi, how's it going? Sorry, I was in the spiel. I saw you came in, and I was going to sidetrack myself if I stopped there. So really well done. I like this 2 for episode. Also, I just want to say the backgrounds were beautiful too. They really did a great job with Coruscant. And I do love that Rex said, "Hey, I'm borrowing a garage from a couple of my friends." These are the 2 friends who of course know Ahsoka, which was at the end of the Clone Wars, the last 4 episodes, or last, I should say, about 8 episodes, somewhere around there, where Ahsoka gets kicked out of the Jedi, or I should say, she refuses to rejoin the Jedi Order. She goes out on her own, and yeah, and meets these 2 girls who have their own shop on Coruscant, their own garage, and then of course gets into trouble with spice miners and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. So good episode. Looking forward. Hopefully, this will kick off a bit more of this season, and we now will go in a direction that isn't aimless, because that's where we kind of felt this was going. That it felt kind of aimless the first couple episodes as to what was happening here, and now this feels like they might actually have a direction that they're going. I'm hoping that's where we go to next. I know the next episode is called The Crossing, whatever that is. So, and that's going to be next week. And remember, we have 16 episodes, so we're at the halfway point now. We're at the halfway point this so far. Movie says, I haven't caught up with the Bad Batch yet. There's some good episode. The 3rd episode for me is still the best one out of this season. I like the 3rd episode, and I'm hoping we're going to weave our way back, over to Crosshair. So to find out what's going on with him, and maybe he might be a true believer. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And I think that's what it is. We're just going to we're going to tie back into that whole what a true believer is with the clones, and and then also that clone that was the assassin had his designation wiped out of him. So no one knows how they can do that. So I guess their designation is embedded in them genetically, I think, is what is going on there. Their call sign numbers. Yeah. So who knows? It's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out. There's a lot of stuff going on in this these 2 episodes, and I liked what they did here. This is really well done. It really was. And of course, Wrecker still being afraid of heights. I loved Rex going, so he's still afraid of heights? I thought he was getting better. And Hunter goes, this is him better. Yeah. So, well, what else do I have going on for the rest of this week? Tomorrow is going to be the reshuffled Is It Worth My Time, Lockwood and Company on Netflix. I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. Sorry, yesterday was just kind of foobarred completely, so I had to move it over to Thursday. Friday is going to be the season finale of Vox Machina. That's right, Vox Machina season finale, the last 3 episodes there. Saturday is going to be The Last of Us episode 5, I think is what that is, because that is going to happen on Friday. The Last of Us is going to air on Friday because of the Super Bowl on Sunday. Sunday I'll be off. Monday I'll be off because there's no, The Last of Us. And then Tuesday, most likely, it'll be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? I just don't know what I'm doing as of yet. I'll find something. Yeah. And of course, Wednesday of next week, we roll back around to the Bad Batch. So there we go. All right. So with that said, I'm gonna let you guys go for the night. Thank you to everybody joining me tonight in the chat, and thank you if you made it this far in the video. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, you know who you are, Movie Fanobi. Take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. YouTube takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible. So one of the videos in my fast video library pops up here just for you. And if you like what you see here, please hit that subscribe button down below there. And if you can, hit that like button, the share button as well. And if you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, go over to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. I change it every week. Also have all the links to my social media and all the links to my pages as well. All righty. Thanks, everyone. I will see you again tomorrow. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may realize that Palpatine has screwed you over once again because he's always a couple of steps ahead. Pence, I'm going to go finish episode 8 now. I'm liking the season so far. All right. Good going, Pen. I will see you tomorrow. Well, maybe. I don't know. Thanks, everyone. I will see you all tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, wear those masks, get those vaccine shots, get the boosters as well. It doesn't work without the boosters. And take care out there, everyone. Thanks. Have a good rest of your night. Good night.